welcome back to 30 Days of Going Inside, because we can't go outside. Today we're going to be looking at the word structure. Many of us are feeling at the moment as though we don't have a familiar structure, feeling a little bit out of routine, which can sometimes make us feel a little bit out of control too. So we're going to look at how developing a routine can actually not only help to calm our minds, but actually benefit our mental health generally. If we regulate our daily actions, then we can deactivate our threat state, our fight and flight response. We're no longer confronting the unknown. And that's why so often routine is associated with safety for young people and for a sense of purpose for us adults. As our body learns to get into a routine, it starts to self-regulate, and we can actually develop some pathways for going into flow state. And flow state is when you are 100% present in the task that you're doing, that it's challenging enough to keep you engaged, but something that you are able to achieve. So for example, 7 o'clock wake up every morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon do some reading, 6 o'clock in the evening make dinner. We fall into flow more easily if we do these tasks as a matter of routine. And a lack of routine can lead to that inevitable procrastination. And routine means that our body and our mind actually prepares for the task that we're going to be doing and rewards us greatly for achieving it. When I work with young people in their later teens in particular, in sixth form, I'm always trying to encourage them to kind of start their revision during the holidays at exactly the same point that their exams are going to start in real life in the summer, if we were in normal situation, which we're not. So encourage them to actually start their revision at 9 o'clock and at 1 o'clock, because when we know that their brain kind of flares up and is ready because we've given it a pattern, a template in which the energy knows in which direction to flow. So at the end of the day, the brain's ready, but it also means that we end up putting in less effort. Routine doesn't necessarily mean doing the same thing at the same time every day, but making an intention to do something. That's the important bit. And actually, at this time of difficulty and isolation, it's quite a good reminder that mental health is no different to physical health. It needs exactly the same routine, time, and discipline as physical health. So while we're constantly being told that 20 minutes of physical exercise is really good for us every day, at the moment, probably at no other point in our lives, has actually making a commitment to getting into a really good mental health routine now is a great time for setting an intention to do that too. I love Dan Siegel's Healthy Mind Platter, which I'm going to just briefly show up on the screen now. And he basically looks at those 7 main areas for optimal brain matter. And we're just going to do a little whistle-stop tour of them now. And maybe there's one of these areas that you can commit to today, to make an intention to put some energy into, so that actually pretty soon it becomes, that routine becomes a habit. And I promise you that your brain and your body will reward you greatly for that. So the first area that he looks at is focus time, where we're actually bringing the full focus of our awareness onto a particular task, something that's challenging, maybe new, so that our brain can make new connections. The second one is playtime, an opportunity for us to be creative, to try something novel and new, because our brain loves being teased, and it loves being excited by new things. That's how to get somebody's attention, is to put something exciting and different in what we deliver. Connecting time, at the moment that is particularly challenging. We're all trying to connect using devices that we wouldn't normally use. But connecting time isn't just about taking a few moments maybe to write to a grandparent during these difficult times. It's also about making a connection to nature and to the outside world. And it's amazing how the lack of airplanes means that I have become so much more focused on birdsong, and I feel a much greater connection to my garden space than I did previously. But it also reminds me, connecting time, of that area around self-compassion, in we're all in this together, that we may not feel as though there's somebody in our immediate vicinity that is in exactly the same situation that we are in, but there are people all over the planet at the moment having to try new things, having to use survival tactics that previously they haven't accessed. So again, it's kind of that ubiquity of human suffering and connecting to the fact that we're all in difficult times together. The next one is kind of looking at our physical sides, because when we exercise our bodies, we obviously reward our brains, and especially with an increase in endorphins, which may be a little bit low at the moment. And then there's time in. And we've been talking a little bit about this in our previous videos. So time in, an opportunity to reflect and to focus on our breath, on the sensations inside our bodies, and also to be with them, to be curious about them, to accept their presence, and from that kind of increased awareness of taking time in, kind of learning the things that we can do to keep our brains integrated, because we know that that's how we survive as humans. Then downtime is good too, an opportunity for the mind to wander where we don't have any focus. That is really important too. And sleep time. Sleep time is the seventh and last area. It's not something that we pay that much attention to, but we know it's absolutely vital for us to be able to maximise the opportunity that sleep gives us to sort of nurture ourselves, and also to put to bed the unfinished business of the day. And we're going to look at that in more detail in day 27 in Replenish. But before I go, I've been looking at these 7 areas myself over the last however many weeks of lockdown, and I've been challenging myself in a few areas as well. One of those is I've been, when I've gone out for my run, I've not taken my headphones with me. I've always run with music, but I've had a very different running experience, connecting very much with the present moment when I run. I've also been doing Duolingo, which is free online, and going back to try and tickle my Spanish ability. And at the moment, I'm on a 7-day streak, which I'm actually really proud of in Spanish Duolingo. But one thing that I have started to do, it started about 10 days ago, and it's something that I talk to my clients about all the time, but stop and start with hugely, as I've been writing Taking in the Good journal, which was one of my sister's ideas, and I will share something with you in the resources after this as to how you might go about creating a journal that's really meaningful for you, because journal writing very quickly can become a very powerful tool for helping us in general life, but particularly in a time of difficulty. Because when we set an intention in the morning and when we reflect in the evening, that gives us a wonderful opportunity to feel a little bit more in control of life when it feels a little bit at the moment all over the place. Anyway, really lovely for you to join me, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care.